Hi, welcome back to session 2. I hope session 1 was great for you. Today we're going to go over the session 2 materials that you're going to need for Sweet O Donuts. The first thing we're going to do again is break out all the activities that you're going to need for your material. You'll once again ask them to pull out their table tents or redistribute them if you have them or the teacher. You're also going to continue to hold up the JA banner. You're going to need your Sweet O Donuts production poster. This is the same poster, I just have it two hung up on flip sides, that way you can see them for this session. You're also going to need your junior journals, your donuts, and the ingredients that are going to go in the donuts when you're starting. One of your very first talking points is you're going to talk about donuts, the different kind of donuts and how that they can be made. When you're going to set out all of your donut activities, make sure you do not pre-punch out the donuts. This is part of their lesson. So make sure you keep these pages whole for the group activity. They're going to prepare, mix, and flavor all of their donuts. One good idea is to bring an example of a good donut and a bad example of a donut. That way they have an understanding of what they're supposed to be completing. When they're going through the activity, you're going to break them up into their groups. They're each going to get donut sheets. They're going to take it out, punch all the donuts, and then put their 3 ingredients on the very back of the donut. Once they've put the ingredients in the back of the donut, they're going to color in the middle to put their flavor. One great idea is only to have them take out 1 or 2 markers or crayons, otherwise they get the whole box out and it can become a distraction. So limit the amount of colors that they have out on their table for their group. One important thing is to stress is that make sure that this is a team activity and that every single student on the team is completing the donuts from start to finish. And it's up to the group to determine how fast they can get that done. Once they've completed all of their donuts and you give them their allotted time, you're going to have them stop and then you're going to have them count out how many donuts they've actually created. You're going to see back here, they have 3 minutes to do it, team 1, 2, all the way up to team 6. You're going to count the donuts, it does not matter if they're good or bad, and write them up here. Then you're going to have each group go through their donuts and see which ones are defective, which ones were not made properly. And then they're going to recount that and put that there. After you've done that, you will subtract their production amount with their number of defects for their total amount for sale. Some great things that you can do is talk about is were the teams fair? They may not necessarily all have the same amount of students in them. So there can be different reasons as to why one group had the most donuts made, or the effective things that they used while making their donuts. Maybe they used an assembly line. Maybe they all did one part of the project, or they were just very quickly and efficient for what they were doing by the limited amount of colors that they chose to use. Once you're done creating their donuts, you're going to want to make sure that they have a good understanding and put the donuts away. They become a huge distraction. So either collect them or have them put them in their desks, whatever works best for you, but if you leave them on the tables, then they're going to play with them the rest of the time and they won't be listening to you. After you've done that, you're going to tell the students that the Sweet O Donut Shop has more tasks for them. They're going to be excited about this and you're going to distribute the junior journal. On the back of it, they're going to draw a brand new donut they have. They might have a hard time coming up with a donut, so you can brainstorm and list ideas that they have. That way, if they can't think of something on their own, they'll be able to take one that's off the board. After they draw their item, they're going to write a short story about their donut and how they prepared it. You want to give them time to share this with the entire group because they'll have some really interesting and fun ideas that they'll want to express on their own. After they've completed that, you're going to want to tell them that the next day is payday. They'll receive money for all their hard work for making their donuts from JA. So that will be their next step for the activity. In the next session, you're also going to talk about the government rules and regulations that go along with their payday. So they'll be able to begin exploring taxes. Hopefully you have fun in session 2 and they enjoy making donuts.